All right, good afternoon, Aninichkwe. Thank you to Glenn of CEN CAN and Jamie of the CEDC for welcoming me here today and inviting me to speak. It's great to be back in Thunder Bay, and it's a real honor to be here with such a passionate group of professionals from the mining, supply, and services sectors. I note that the CEDC headline on their website for their mining section is Northwestern Ontario is the next mining powerhouse. And it's true from what we've heard this morning as well, with gold at record price levels, lithium developments gaining momentum, and with investments in offtake agreements, and everyone searching for more copper supply. Thunder Bay is well poised to be a dominant player in the ecosystem. We're at a turning point, facing big opportunities and real challenges. The world is changing fast with geopolitical tensions, trade uncertainties, and soaring demand for responsibly sourced minerals. The recent meeting with Prime Minister Carney and Chancellor Merz, signing of the joint declaration with Germany, including mention of Rocktech Lithium and their vertical integration with BMW, is a positive sign of things to come. We've seen equally exciting international partnerships with Frontier Lithium and Mitsubishi. This mining powerhouse is gaining momentum. Despite the uncertainties, Ontario's mining sector remains a cornerstone of our economy, driving innovation, creating well-paying jobs, and underpinning our supply chains, and even helping our balance of trade numbers during the uncertainty caused by he who shall not be named, those U.S. trade actions against our manufacturing sector. Mining's the foundational, irreplaceable link for a fully integrated Ontario economy. Today, I'll share highlights from our 2025 State of the Ontario Mining Sector Report, released this spring in partnership with the Ministry of Energy and Mines, whom you'll hear from soon. I've had the pleasure of visiting Ontario's mining hubs, including Sudbury and Timmins, and now Thunder Bay. I've spoken to many about the state of the sector, and I'm a sucker for good data, so sorry if you've heard some of this before, but it's important to me to get it out there and get it across the province. That's my nerdy engineering side coming out. I'll also outline how we at the Ontario Mining Association are pushing for smart policies to ensure that we have those policies to secure our future, and why, despite the challenges, we're ready to navigate what's ahead. Now, I know my presentation's not up, but not a huge deal. Don't stress. If it's not going up, don't worry about it. All right. There we go. All right, where should I click? There we go. All right. So some numbers up there for you. And for folks that are interested in the report, it is on our Ontario Mining Association website. As we know, mining's been the backbone of Ontario's economy for generations. In 2023, 36 active mines pumped nearly $24 billion into our GDP, with exports topping $64 billion. 1 in 4 exported goods from Ontario are domestic mineral exports, proof of how vital our minerals and metals are globally. This success is driven by over 22,000 people directly working in Ontario's mining sector, earning wages nearly double the provincial average. Beyond the mine sites, our industry supports another 130,000 jobs in the supply and services sector, many of whom are here today. Mining, just isn't an economic force. It's driving technology forward. Ontario leads Canada in gold production, with 18 mines producing $6.5 billion worth in 2023. It's a reminder that gold isn't just for investors. It's in electronics, medical devices, and aerospace tech. Here in the Northwest, we heard from Derek, we have West Red Lake Gold Mines reviving the Madsen mine, bringing ingenuity to ramp up operations. And we heard from Austin, Alamos Gold's Island Gold Mine continues to be one of the largest, lowest cost, and profitable gold mines in Canada. And it was refreshing to see Orla invest almost $100 million in the Musselwhite mine to upgrade and expand it. An operation, and as a reminder, that was one of the first in Canada to enter into an exclusive agreement with nearby Indigenous communities. Ontario has 9 critical mineral active mines and 10 processing facilities producing $6.4 billion in essential materials like nickel for EV batteries and copper for clean energy. Now, what's missing on this slide is the untold story of the future of lithium and the electric avenue that's being conceived here in the Northwest. As the cost curve for processing hard rock lithium continues to go down, and as demand increases by ensuring we have a secure supply chain with our allies, price and profit will rise and soon be reflected on this slide. As Canada's top producer of gold and nickel, Ontario is in a prime position to meet this demand, strengthening supply chains and reducing reliance on unstable foreign sources. Exploration is key to this future. In 2023, Ontario saw nearly $1 billion in exploration investment, almost a quarter of Canada's total, ensuring we have the mineral reserves we need for generations to come. We work closely with partners at the PDAC to ensure we advocate for those important tax credits that need to be bolstered and remain in place, including Ontario's flow-through share tax credit. And as a former director at the Ministry of Mines, many of whom are former Ministry of Mines or current Ministry of Mines staff, including Jamie, I also want to recognize the foundational data sets key for exploration being digitized and published in Geology Ontario through the smart work of the Ontario Geological Survey. And we all know Ontario mining isn't just about profits. It's about responsibility. Our companies lead the world in safety, environmental protection, and ethical business practices. We're proving this commitment through action, rapidly adopting battery electric mining equipment, autonomous haul trucks, and advanced mineral processing technologies that slash emissions. In fact, we're adopting clean tech at a faster rate than most other industries. When it comes to innovation, there's no shortage of it in Ontario, even when it comes to opportunities like the recovery of minerals from tailings and waste rock, like Andrew mentioned, also a former Ministry of Mines member. Far-reaching potential that could contribute to an exciting new source of cash flow for mine financing. As we operate and innovate, safety always comes first. Our industry's lost time injury rate is 17% lower than the provincial average, a clear sign that our safety protocols work. The ultimate goal for all Ontario mining companies is to achieve a zero-incident work environment, and our mining operators are devoted to promoting a culture of safety. Responsible mining also means real partnerships with Indigenous communities. Our industry is committed to economic reconciliation, workforce development, and community collaboration. Our mining industry has over 140 active agreements with Indigenous communities, and that includes impact benefit agreements, exploration agreements, and government resource revenue sharing. These ensure Indigenous communities are key partners in the economic benefits of mining, while respecting cultural heritage and traditional land stewardship. This commitment is also reflected in our workforce. Indigenous workers make up 12% of Ontario's mining sector. That's 4 times the provincial average. That's thanks to industry-led efforts in recruitment, training, and apprenticeships. And as you know, most natural resource projects in Northwestern Ontario rely on support from Indigenous-owned and Indigenous joint venture companies. This is encouraging, but there's room for growth. Earlier this week, we at the OMA held our first procurement roundtables right here in Thunder Bay, which some of you may have attended. The goal was to encourage honest conversations and share knowledge about the challenges that Indigenous-led businesses face in the mining sector. These discussions will help us create a toolkit to capture lessons learned and best practices for procurement. And we put these roundtables in place because it's what our members asked for and what we heard from Indigenous partners. Despite the strengths of our economic report, we have to confront the challenges ahead with determination and a clear vision. Trade uncertainty is, of course, one of our biggest challenges. Ontario's mining industry depends on open, stable access to global markets, especially the US, our largest trading partner. In 2023, Ontario sent $42 billion in mineral exports to the US. Critical minerals made up $5.7 billion of that, 57% of all of Ontario's critical mineral exports. With US supplies of nickel, zinc, and copper running short, Ontario's production is essential for manufacturing and defense, for their manufacturing and defense. Meanwhile, Ontario imported $77 billion in minerals and metals, including $40.6 billion from the US. So that's just a reminder. We sent $42 billion to the US, we brought in $40.6, and that's close to a trade balance. And to me, it's a reminder that there's no winners in a trade war. Tariffs and counter-tariffs threaten this vital trade relationship. They drive up costs, disrupt supply chains, and make North America more dependent on less reliable sources at a time when we're striving for more secure supply chains. That's why we continue to urge policymakers to declare mining as a strategic priority, both to establish Ontario as a trusted, essential supplier and to support the domestic supply chains in our province. And beyond trade, we also need to tackle the structural challenges affecting our global competitiveness. Investment remains strong. Ontario saw over $5.2 billion in capital spending last year, but we can't take that for granted. Countries like Indonesia and China are ramping up production with government-backed mining and refinery expansions, creating fierce competition. To keep Ontario a top mining destination, we need efficient regulations, better coordinated permitting, and policies that will maintain a strong investment climate, and that takes urgent teamwork across all levels of government. All ministries need to be seized with mining projects as a strategic priority, working together to make permitting more efficient and providing clarity on the challenges associated with consultation. The Ontario government's proposed one project, one process approach, or 1P, 1P, represents a positive step forward. Its success will depend on adequate resourcing and careful, thoughtful implementation. I'm sure you'll hear more from Minister Lecce about it. And we also need smart policies and a focus on building the next generation of workers. I hear this everywhere I go. In fact, we just talked about it. With 21% of mining workers over the age of 55, workforce shortages remain a challenge. We see mining program enrollment is dropping at a time when we need to be positioned for growth. This is a challenge we can't ignore. Many of you know that as an association, we're tackling this challenge head on. We have initiatives like This is Mine Life, our campaign, which is funded in part by the Government of Canada and the Province of Ontario. This campaign, which aims to encourage young people and newcomers to Canada to consider a career in mining, is having a positive effect. Earlier this year, we conducted an Ipsos omnibus poll, and it helped us narrow down that over 1.3 million youth in Ontario are now considering mining for their future. That is so helpful in terms of how we advocate and where we advocate for increasing those youth to get involved in the sector. And one of the most important ways we make an impact with youth is meeting them in person. So keep in mind, we're coming back to Thunder Bay October 22nd and 23rd at the Canadian Lakehead exhibition for the Level Up Career Fairs. And if you have youth ambassadors in your companies, please let us know. They are the most effective spokespeople for the mining sector. They're there to tell students, high school students, their parents, their guidance counselors, and their teachers that they bought a house at 25, they bought a car at 25, and they go travel the world at 25 because they work in the mining sector. More can and needs to be done. We need to expand our recruitment efforts enhance apprenticeship programs, work with educators to make systemic changes, and with policymakers to ensure that Northern Ontario remains an attractive place to live and work. Undoubtedly, infrastructure investment is key. Many mines are in remote areas with limited housing, healthcare, and digital connectivity, which holds back workforce growth. Industry and government need to work together to build the infrastructure that can properly support mining communities. I hear from our members, I hear in Kirkland Lake as an example that there's no maternity ward. There's no place for women to have their babies nearby. We need to be able to build communities where families can come and build a life and succeed in Northern Ontario. A big part of the appeal of mining to young people is how it aligns with their values, providing solutions to climate change by helping to drive the clean energy transition. They also relish the prospect of being active participants in transforming the industry, including through electrification of our fleets and processes. In Ontario, the main challenges for mine electrification are grid limitations, high costs, and older mine designs. In Northern Ontario and remote areas, unreliable or no access to the grid makes electrification tough. Reliable power is crucial. With mining operations expected to grow, the IESO, the Independent Electricity Systems Operator, is forecasting demand in the Northwest region to increase by 525% over the next 25 years. So important for us to continue to work with that partner, the IESO, and the Ministry of Energy and Mines to advocate for that reliable, crucial power that we need in the North and the Northwest particularly. And last year we advocated for and supported the Wawa to Porcupine transmission line in Northeastern Ontario and the Waasigan transmission line in Northwestern Ontario, and will continue those same efforts. So despite the challenges, the outlook for Ontario mining is stronger than ever. We have the resources, the expertise, and drive to power economic growth and innovation for decades to come. But to fully capitalize on this potential, we need to build more mines. And to do so, our call to action is crystal clear. First, mining needs to be recognized as that strategic priority by all levels of government. Ontario's plan to introduce a one project, one process approach is a great start. The entire sector should be prioritized, made very clear to all ministries that mining's a top priority, and it should be considered a top-of-desk item, not a side-of-desk item. And second, our regulatory and permitting process must be streamlined for efficiency to boost investment certainty, and stay competitive. We're hopeful the government's 1P will get us there, and it'll be resourced and implemented in a thoughtful way. Third, money. Show me the money. We need investment in upstream mining and processing and infrastructure. Like the $50 billion that's been allocated for advanced EV manufacturing, the government investing $500 million to create a new critical minerals processing fund is a strong start. And their emphasis on new support for Indigenous communities to be at the table is key to moving forward. Fourth is talent. Policies supporting workforce development across the supply chain are crucial, and this includes changes to our education system. Fifth, trade. We can't get away without talking about trade in the world we're in today. We must be proactive in navigating geopolitical uncertainties, ensuring that our trade relationships remain strong and diverse in the face of external pressures. We're committed to collaboration. We're working closely with government leaders to ensure our industry's voice is heard in trade talks, regulatory discussions, and economic development. The future of mining is in our hands. Let's seize the moment, not just for our industry, but for Ontario and for our allies worldwide. Thank you.